All right, so we have like two two section like record list action and related action, right? So whenever we need a new list, a new kind of like a new entry on your record, right? So you have like a vendor applicant, we have a vendor applicant contact, right? A category and like status is kind of like a fixed status, fixed records. But if you want to add like a new record, new category or new status in the systems, so you can add also like from here. But most of the time, like for reference table, we are not actually creating an action on Appian. We're gonna do it like from the database side. So we're gonna uh, insert the data like like by running script, or we're gonna do it like from user interface. So if I want to add like staples or like value furniture or anything on this list, I can add I can use like this action. This action is we can we, we're gonna configure the same kind of action, right? Same kind of action from a record list action section. But if I want to update, right? If I want to update the best buy, right, or like a new entry, so I can do this through a related action, right? So I can update the vendor management or sorry, vendor applicant, or I can delete from from the summary, like whatever like I see from the summary page. If I like there's a related action section, so related action section to actually have all of our processes which help us to make an update or a delete or any kind of like data modification on the existing like what on the existing record. Like so from the name you can tell like related action, right? So it's going to be an action but it's related to some specific record. So in our case it's going to be best buy, right? uh, so if you want to add like multiple things, right? For example, like now we want to add from here, right? From here, from the Best Buy, we forgot to add, like one of the contacts. For example, like the CEO or the human resource guy. So still, like we're gonna give them some kind of action to someone like to review the summary page of the Best Buy vendor applicant, and they can go to related action. They can add a new contact. All right. So uh, from here, like for example, like okay, so we have all the action, but on the summary page, right? What can I do like to see those action? Right? I have to click on the reduction, or I have to can I have like shortcut, right? So now I created like a views, right? So view last time like we created like a view. Just view is nothing, just to see like to give for the users some kind of like information. In this case, we created like a summary page for the applicant. So on that summary page, so the user can easily go to there, right? The user can go to the summary page and see like the detail, right? So what kind of like information. So it's nothing, but it's gonna like add like more knowledge about that specific record. So we click on the Best Buy, we learn more about Best Buy, right? So okay, Best Buy has all this applicant. Best Buy has like it's created like on this date, it's active or something like. So we get like a lot of information, whatever like you know. So the reason actually we put like record the the reason we put like summary page or something summary page, it's gonna give us like a lot of information, right? So here on on the first page, right, like on the record, right now like we see like a few of them, right? But we're not actually giving every information on on the record list, right? So just to make it like it's gonna like for the integers, we're gonna show them like only like vendor applicant, maybe the ID, the name, phone number, and all the address like email or something. We don't need to like give them all the option like to see from here, but just can just but like once they click on the vendor applicant, so they can go in and then see all the detail. So how can I actually so let's see like today, right? So how can I actually like limit uh, like the number, like the field like they see, right? So like they see like few fields right there, like right now like looks like everything, right? But we need to see only like vendor, uh, like only name, phone, email. Maybe we don't need to see like the category, and then we need to remove like all the address field, right? So all the address information and everything, we're gonna let the users to see like on the summary page instead of the front page, right? So all these are actually like summary page on the record type. So whatever you see on the record URL, right? So on this specific URL, so you see all the list of the vendor applicant, but on the vendor applicant, you see everything, right? So we're gonna limit this information, right? So there is two ways, like on the record list. One is like grid style, and the other is actually feed style. So we're gonna see only like grid style because so I'm gonna actually give you like some kind of like challenge to once actually you are comfortable, just to display this in a feed format. Okay, so I'm gonna provide you the code. Actually, kind of like easy, but like just kind of just I'll challenge you like when you actually complete your project. But now like we're gonna display like in a tabular format, like just grid, and feed is actually the difference between the two is actually in the grid format. We're gonna actually show our record like in a table format. Okay, they're gonna list the same way like what you see on the vendor applicant record type page, right? But if it's a feed, right? So the difference is actually feed is actually for Best Buy, I'm gonna have like only one kind of like an icon, right? So for Staples, it's gonna be an icon. So there is no like it's not kind of like it's not in the table, but it's kind of like on kind of a list like but kind of a feed, right? So you can just make some kind of like picture and everything like on that specific feed. So you can click on the feed and then you see all the detail about your record. Like so most of the time, we are not using like a feed in real project. So that's why like I'm not gonna like spend like more time on this guy. Even like on interview, no one will gonna ask you about like creating a feed. So don't spend like much time like what is it like feed or something. Like whatever like we are working on the grid. If you wherever you go on the real project, it's a feed style, right? Sorry, grid style. So that's why like let's focus on this one. But it's good like you can type some code or something just to see on the feed, right? So just if I forgot actually just remind Darwin. So I will gonna show you, or like just first like you have to try it, and then I'm gonna, if you want me to show you, like I'm gonna show you that. All right, so on this grid list, right? So like just to click on this, like whatever. Sorry. So whatever you see here, right? It's gonna be it's configured right here. So we can edit the list, right? So we can edit whatever the list there, right? Whatever the on that screen. So okay, this is on the grid. We're actually displaying our record type on the the stylus grid. Then there's an option here, an edit list button. So we can click on the edit list button. Right, so if like now you see it's gonna be like kind of a preview, right? A preview of the whatever you see on that record list, record page. So on left side, like you will have like all the columns, right? Uh, we are displaying in a grid format, So there is kind of like a code on the back end saying like grid layout and the columns, the names, phone, and everything like that, right? So but also like if you see here like vendor applicant is in the grid, we can configure it in here. Whatever the value needs to be passed or something, we can configure it somewhere. For example, let's see like a name, right? If I click on the name, so I know like this name field is actually like labeled as name, right? And the sort field, like whatever the sort field is actually, I'm gonna sort it based on the value name actually stored, right? And what is the display value, right? The display value is nothing but it's kind of what the value I need to display. So this display value, that is like this is actually kind of like giving a default. It's doing nothing, but like if it's default, like I can remove this guy, so that's fine. Right, but also like just keep it the same way, right? So it's nothing but from that vendor applicant record type, I'm getting the name value, right? So the name, like whatever the stored like in the name. So we're gonna see it actually like when we actually create our interface, when we play around like here and there. So you'll understand like this code, like what is actually vendor applicant name, like how to index and then save things right there. So the reason actually I changed it, actually I want to show you like this, okay? So like sort field is by name, display value, like whatever it's going to be displayed here, it's going to be the name like on that record type. So you can change like the visibility, kind of like show when or something, like for some specific group show this value, for some specific group don't show it or something. Like if we need to like some kind of visibility, we can play it right here as well. Alignment, so we can change the alignment like to either like start, center, like depending on like you like. So like we're not changing anything, but if you when you practice, right, just feel free just to make like the change, right, and then see like what happened like when you do all the changes, right? So is there any kind of like even like when you do it like on the word, right, like word table, you created a table, you just put some value, and then you just move it in align to the right, align to the left, or something like that, right? And the width of the column, right? So for example, like you have the width here. Now, okay, I want to make it like big or something because kind of like base is actually like for example, like I want to make it like medium plus, right? So like you'll see like it's gonna be like a big one, right? So you cannot just like this way. I'm gonna make it auto. That's fine. Auto is actually it's automatically adjust like based on the number of characters on that specific field, it will automatically adjust it for you. But if you think of like it has like description or something, you can come here and uh, make that like wide or like medium plus size. So but now just this every field, right? So every field is actually sorted this way, right? So like it's like we are actually passing like name, right? Something like for phone, it's gonna be like the label is gonna be phone. The value, the sort field is actually a phone, right? The field like the whatever the value in the phone, like so it's gonna be sorted by this, right? And also like with the display value, like whatever we are going to display is actually the name, right? So like these two fields, don't be confused, right? So sort field and like display value, right? Sort field is just like for sorting purpose, right? So like okay, if you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sequentially or something, so you want to see from top to from top to bottom, right? So you can double click, right? When you double click here, right? So it's gonna give you like sorting, right? So double click on that field. So whatever like when we double click, we're actually just giving some kind of like direction for this grid, just sort this, like sort all the field, right, all the table here based on the font, right, based on the whatever the value in the font, and like either like ascending or descending order, right? So if I change this value, right, for example, if I change this value to by category ID, right, whenever like I click like a phone number, right, so like for example, like we have like here like 10, right. So the reason I got this error because I am actually using sort field like sorry, category ID on the category field. So I'm gonna remove that. Like either like we need to use like only one sort field on one field, right? So so Appian also give you so no, it's actually phone. It's a name. Right, I'm gonna change it to name. So the display value is whatever like the display value, right? So display value is nothing, just what like it's actually giving Appian just some kind of like direction. Okay, like on this specific grid, on this specific field column, just show the value, whatever the value like in that specific record type, it's stored on the name field, right? So if I change this, right? So if I change this to, for example, uh, city, right? Like for example, like on the name, if I change to city, then it's automatically I will see like silver, right? Silver. So whatever the value like on that city field, just display this. But just make sure you map your fields properly, so you'll have like proper data displayed for the users. So the reason actually I'm here is actually wanna show you just how to tweak things, right? How to like if you see any issue, right? For example, like we see everything, right? So like if I click like each field, right? If I click on city, I see the same thing like what I see on when I click on the name, right? So you can click in any of them, any of the field, just play around, just if you wanna update the value, like for example, like I don't need this like default, right? So this default, this will like just want to give you an that. So it's actually this is an Appian like function. A default value is an Appian function. uh, so this is actually doing nothing, but like if whatever the value in the city, right, whatever the value we are storing, for example, like when you put in the form, right? So if we forgot to put city, right, but if we put like a address line 1, address line 2 and something, and then if you forgot city, right, then automatically will take a default, right? So that you can see it like this, right? So for example, right here, you see, if it's empty, then you're gonna see it default. So default is doing nothing, like, but it's actually showing you, okay, if there is nothing, like for the category ID, right, just show dash, right? If I remove this guy, then nothing, right? That's gonna like it will put nothing, like instead of dash or something. But Appian, when we generate a new action, new record type, new list, Appian is kind of a best practice. If nothing is there, show dash. So that's why Appian provide that. But in real projects, we are not seeing like that. We're not actually storing this way, right? So we're gonna, if something is wrong, if something is null or something, we're gonna have like some logic based on the requirement. But most of the time, we're not passing like dash as if there's nothing. If there's nothing, we show nothing, right? That's the difference between like when you create in Appian and in real project. All right, so now at least like yeah, actually you saw me like just to updating like two fields, right? So like one name and city, like it's gonna be the same for all. It's gonna be the same for all, like, but now just what I wanna go back to the grid. So just to see like the grid, like click on the grid at the top, so you'll see like all the grid list, right? If I want to add a new field, like if I want to add like an next to like modified, if I want to add a new field, I can still add a column right here. I can click add, so automatically it will give me like a new field just to add it. But if you want to remove it as well, like you can hover over on this guy and then click on X, right? So it will automatically remove it for you. So now I'm here just to remove some fields, right? So I'll come here. So I'm gonna remove like address line 1. I'm gonna remove like address line 2, right? So because I don't want to see the address things like inside, right? So just that only this is actually fine. The category ID, I will come and then update some stuff too. So we wanna see actually the category, right? So data applied, we don't need to see the data applied, right? So like let's remove that again. Is active field, that's fine. Is active field, we need that. Modified dates, modified by something, we don't need that, right? All right, so something just only like we're gonna display some kind of like short and precise, and gives like load you can easily understand like what is actually Best Buy and what it be if you need the phone number or email, you can easily pick from the top right from the list, and instead of just going through going inside the record and find out that information. So this is actually fine, right? So right, so but if you want to add like a new field, you can add. If you want to remove, you can remove it anywhere, right? So like you can remove like all of the fields. All right, so I'm gonna click OK. All right, save. All right, so now if I see now, if I go to in the refresh of my page, so you see it like like it's kind of like clean, short and precise, right? So you can easily you can easily like remove like so. But I need like the category, at least like here like for category ID, I need some category like either like Best Buy electronics, either it's like furniture or something, right? So at least it will give me some idea about the vendor. We're gonna update that actually. So but at least like we can update the name. Actually category, I don't need to see the category ID because people, they don't know like what the category ID value is, right? 1 2 3 or something. On the back end it has like some value, but I need to see the category. So just updating the name, right? So the name of the field, right? So like you see like here category ID, we have category ID, so I can remove this guy, right, ID, and save it again. That's gonna be category, the name changed to the category. All right, kind of slow. All right, so click save. All right, so once actually saves, you will see the actually the change will reflect here, right? So category right there. Now, like like from the top, then you'll see all the kind of like the useful information on the top, right? So like Best Buy, and it's a few detail about his address and contact, right? So once you go inside that specific record type, so you will see the detail, right? The detail of the page. It's kind of like summary. So summary will have like everything about that vendor. So in Appian, in order to get some knowledge about the record, right? So in order to get some knowledge about the record, what you need to do is actually you need to just read more about it, right? So read more about it. For example, like okay, what is Best Buy, right? So I need to read like more about Best Buy, right? So I need to get like more information about it. So record, like inside the record types, inside record type, it will give like more knowledge about that specific record, so you can learn more about it, right? So okay, what is the summary? And if you have like a contact, so we can add like add like a multiple tabs here, right? We can add like multiple tabs on this one. For example, like the contacts, the address information and everything like that, right? Um, uh, like people's like or a resource, like whatever, like vendors, like what can I say? What can I call it? Like yeah. So anything like what kind of like what kind of items we buy from Best Buy or something, right? So we can add like multiple tabs here, and from here we can click here and there, and then just get like more information about Best Buy. So record types is kind of like from here. It's kind of like just give you like together all the data in a single topic, right? So all the related data will gonna be on the single topic. So for best by vendor applicant, so you have like items that they can supply, the contact, the address information, everything, right? So it brings like all in the single topic and displays in a series record views, right? So you can create like a number of like series of record views, so you can get like more information, more knowledge about the record. So that specific record. So now like I want to add like just I click related action right here, right? So and then I can update like okay, the best by phone number or something is actually different, right? So still I can have it somewhere like I can update this guy, right? And I can save it. So like automatically, for example, like let's update this test.com, right? So test.com, and maybe I'm gonna add like test2, right? So I want to change the email like test2, and I'm gonna save it, right? So automatically I'll see the update on the summary page. If I want to delete, so I can delete the record, so it's gonna be deleting. We are not able to see, right? So if you see here, now whatever the change, like so you'll see. So the cool thing is actually like you can't see from the record list. You click on the record, you land it on the summary page, you learn about that specific record and like related records as well, right? Then, right, you wanna actually you wanna see like if everything is actually working as expected, like every information actually correct, right? And then okay, you realize okay, there is some issue on the phone number, right? So okay, the phone number needs to update it, like so they change the phone number or they change the email or like they change the address, right? So now like okay, like let me act on it, right? So I can update this one, like I know I can create a related action, I can orchestrate a process, right? I can attach a process model, so I can act on it and then I can update that specific record. So we did nothing, just we added like we attached the process model. So that process model is doing is actually we when we open that specific record, it will give you an interface and then pre-populate the value whatever we have before. Then you can update it, right? So but here we have that related action just for update. So I have the best practice, right? The best practice when you are working on your project actually is actually to reduce the number of click, right? So for example, if to update this from the summary page, I want to update the summary like on the phone number of the city or like created by or like any right zip code or something, one of the field, right? So the user is gonna click here first, right? It's gonna be the first click, right? And then he has to click to initiate the process. That's kind of like two click, right? So as a best practice and as a best, as a good developer, you need to reduce the number of click, right? So instead of just doing this, if I give him the action right there, right? So just click here and then update, right? So the update action automatically, right? They can click there and then update the information, right? So I reduce one click. So that's a good design, right? So how can I do that? Okay, now just I'm gonna come here, like I see the views, right? So I'm seeing the view, whatever I see here, like it is actually a view, right? Actually the summary page. I'll show you here, right? When I click on the view, I generated one whenever like I see on the view, so I see like a summary page, right? For example, like if you see here, and then I want to add actually contact, right? Like summary, like okay, I need to add a contact as well. So if I want to add a new one, right, I can add new view manually, right? Type name is actually contact, right? And I'm gonna add actually a role. So for now I don't have anything, so I put like a curly brace, right? So I will not see anything, right? So and then click OK. So this is how actually you add like a number of serious views about that specific record. So any related, like for example, we have a contact. So I added like contact because our next step is actually creating a contact, right, for the vendor. So now if you see, like we have actually summary and news and action, related action, right? Now let me refresh the page. Same page, right? So you see, like now I added like contact, right? So I can add like multiple contact and then I can incorporate multiple rules, like multiple interface, right? So you can add like as long maybe like 20 or something, even like more than 20. You can add like multiple tabs on that specific record. So that means like you just click on one list, like record list, and then you land it onto that detail, like every detail, right? So you get like a lot of information about, you learn a lot about like Best Buy, right? So Best Buy, what is Best Buy, who is the contact, what kind of item they have, anything like whatever, like if you so it's when you do this, right, when you actually practicing, right, so just feel free, like if you think of anything, like for example, okay, let me add like an item, right, item table. Yes, do that, right? So you as I mentioned, you you are not actually breaking anything by just creating stuff. So just create new stuff, try, just fail, but that's okay. Like see if there is a much error. You can do it again, or like you can delete them for the object. Uh, so, but you will learn a lot. So uh, now, like, so the reason actually go there is actually to reduce number of click, right? So I want to add, like, I want to update this guy, right? I want to update specify without clicking relate action, right? So I want to see that action right here and then like click here. So that means like I can reduce one click, right? So whatever like the information I see is actually on this rule, on this interface rule. This is a summary page, right? On that summary page we're seeing that all this information is actually included on this specific rule. So we're gonna see it, like we're gonna check, we're gonna manipulate those rule as well, like when we're actually discussing more about interface rule, okay, user interface. So now I'm gonna edit this guy, right? Edit summary. So from here, like if you see the interface we passed is actually vendor applicant summary. That's actually Appian generated for us. Uh, the name you can edit, right? You can edit that, but some by default it's actually summary, like always at least we need to have like one summary, right? So if you want to update this guy, right, default like expression, you can change to vendor summary, right? Anything you want, right? So vendor summary or something, so you can override this guy. But here, if you see here related action, right, automatically I will give you like a related action shortcuts. Okay, I want to delete and then update the I want to delete and update as a shortcut on my summary page, so the users, they shouldn't they can easily like click from there, from the summary page. So number of clicks for the user will be reduced by one at least, right? So click OK. Cool. All right. So if I refresh the page now, all right, still not saving yet. Yeah, it's still going. Uh, so I should see like a couple of like actions, whatever I see on the related action. Uh, say they can click here and then initiate the process immediately, right? And then they can update it. So that's kind of only like, for example, like in contact, like on the summary page, I'm gonna update like all the thing like about Best Buy. But if it's contact, then I'm gonna see like update contact, right? So only for that specific view, that specific focused area. So we're going to give them some specific action, right? All right, right here, right? So now, like, they can see the page, right? So they can see the summary page. Like I change the to vendor summary. Uh, so you can change it like anything you want, right? So there's nothing wrong, like if you update the name, okay? But if I want to delete, I can delete it from here, right? So number of actions, I don't need to go to the related action, but just I can just directly open this guy and then update this guy, right? I'm gonna update this and just done. All right. Any question, guys? So all this actually is about process model, right? So we are actually updating this guy, everything, like we are actually orchestrating the whatever the we're orchestrating the flow, right? So the flow onto updating the vendor applicant, right? So now we did some kind of like practice, but now it's let's discuss about like what is process object, right? So we discussed more about like data object last time, right? Like kind of like a record type and everything. So still we're gonna play a lot on the record type, right? So as I told you, right? So record type is a kind of like a centric heart of like Appian, right? So we're gonna come back, okay? So but like let's discuss more about like process object, right? Uh, in data object, we call like data store CDT and like a record types as categorized as actually data object. Data store and data type is not anymore supported by Appian, but record type will stay there, right? In Appian, there is a design object. We categorize as them like process object, right? So this process object, in that process object, we have like process model, process reports, and then kind of like robotics, right? Can be considered like process centric, right? So it's kind of like record types like CDT and data stores are kind of like a data centric, right? Everything like every object created for data object is actually related to data. But when you have like process object, when you say like process object, process models, and process reports, come because they're process centric, right? So everything's related to like process, like how the process flows, right? Process models defines how a process will function, right? Based on the requirements, based on like how the company work, right? While process report allows users to access data from the process. So uh, we actually I try to cover like this last class as well, right? So process model is a primary tool in Appian for describing a workflow. So it's kind of like graphical layout. So the designer or the developer, we kind of like orchestrating the best the activities of the company in a kind of like graphical way. So to manipulate data, to create like a user, to create a group, to make an integration to the external system, anything, right? Uh, so we can orchestrate those things based on the requirements, and also like process models are frequently used with the record type. So that's already I showed you right there, like by adding record as a record list action as well as a related action, right? But also like record process model, they're not actually limited to record type. So we created like a process model to initiate the process like by itself, like kind of automatic process, like they run automatically like every night. Also, like we can call a process inside a process, right? We can initiate a process through email, right? So like for example, like someone send email to some specific target. So our SMTP server or email server listen like for that specific ID, and then once we get that like on our inbox, so we can initiate the process. So there is multiple ways of initiating a process, but like most of the time we are actually orchestrating our process model with the record types. So we can add like a number of like record lists and related action, mostly like related action, right? So like when like our class is gonna be like more of like I will say like record type, record type, record type. The reason I'm actually saying like record type, if you know record type, you know Appian. Okay, so try to understand like how the record works, how actually how we can pass like from some kind of data from a record type to another type. So that's I'm will expect everyone to know about record types, how to pass things and everything at the end of the class though. All right, so what is actually process report, right? So process model, we said like, okay, it's a graphical thing, like we can orchestrate in the record type, so we can update something, right? We can make an kind of like orchestrating like the workflow, the business activities and everything like that, right? So that's a process model. So process model will give that. So what is actually process report? So here, right, process report is nothing like, it's not when you say from the name, right? It's kind of like report, right? What was report? It's a process report. So whatever the process have, right? Every process is running, right? So when we run the process, right? For example, right here. So this is the process for creating or updating vendor applicant, right? I want to see if there is all the process failed. Sorry, running process, right? I run all this process, like, and a few of them is actually cancel, but I updated one, right? So like for example, like let me open this guy, right? Let me open this one. So this is running, right? I just update the base by. So if you see this, like if you see the information, like here, I updated the email to email test at test2, right? Right? So anything like any record, like this is actually a simple record, right? So because I just updated like vendor applicant, but you will have like a lot of complex process, right? So for example, our record vendor applicants, if you see here, just to more see like in a structured way. So I just updated like from email from test to test2, right? So this is actually running process or like in a completed process. So this process will stay like for at least for some days, right? So when you configure this guy, this specific process, we actually configure this one to stay like to at least like 7 days. After 7 days, we're gonna delete it. So before 7 days, like this is complete, but after 7 days, right, this is complete. So after 7 days, this instance, right, not the process model, but the running instance, right, whatever like will create or update. After 7 days of completion, it's gonna be deleted. So we're not actually getting any information out of it. But in between like that 7 days, the process report, right? The process report will help us, right? It's gonna, to gather information from that running processes, and then like we can pull information from the active processes and complete processes, before archiving or deleting, and it will display data from active and recently completed process and tasks, right? So like it's kind of nothing, but it's kind of like even if like the process is running and it's active, that means uh, you are not able to access the data from the process, and unless like that's actually saved in the database, right? Yes, like we can access the process data if it is active and is completed. So before deletion or archiving, you can easily access the information about that specific running processes using a process report. So the process report will access those information and then display it as a report. So you can easily tell, and then you can easily make your own report. You can make your decision out of the running process as well. Robotic tasks, like most companies they don't have it, but some companies have like robotic tasks. So robotic tasks, for example, like kind of like routine task, right? So if you wanna, why we need actually robots, right? Robot is nothing, right? So like, but like we need some kind of routine task to be replaced by robot, right, instead of human, right? So kind of boring things, right? So robotic process interact with like other application through their front end interface. Most of the time, like kind of like a legacy system, like some legacy system they have like kind of like data feed and everything like that. So you can add like we're not actually creating the when I say like robotic process or something, we're not creating the robots like robot activities or something like on Appian. There is some good tools for kind of like robotic activity, right? So like UiPath has Blue Prism or something like that, right? So, but if you have like kind of robots, right? Configured bots to run, so you can use like robotic processes to configure and then just execute those robots like through Appian, like so. So you can use them like to automate like a manual and repetitive tasks on a system that don't have like right APIs, right? So what does that mean? Like we don't, just that don't have like a right APIs, right? Nowadays, right? Nowadays, like all the application is kind of like modernized, right? So they have like API. So API is nothing but it's kind of like an end node for the application to go, to send an like to send some kind of information from the system or like to receive some kind of information from external system. So to applications actually nowadays like modern applications nowadays actually communicate through APIs. Like we can integrate them through API, right? So information can we can send information to external system. We can also receive uh, information or data like from the external system to Appian. But like old application, like kind of legacy application, they don't have like the right APIs to integrate, right? So still, uh, we can orchestrate some kind of bots, like like we created like bots from chatbot or UiPath or Blue Prism. So we can configure it through Appian like a robotic process, so we can easily like replace this manual and repetitive routine tasks, and then just make them like an Appian. Just done by like this robot. Sorry. Developers can integrate robotic processes into their Appian application to achieve a complete automation, right? So nothing, right? So I want to update, like for example, like what I like simple example, okay? In Appian, uh, we run some process, update things, and finally we generate Excel, right? The Excel actually generators have like 1,000 records, like maybe kind of student, like 1,000 students actually that generated like all the information, student grade and everything. But just to update this Excel information to legacy system, like I mean, people's actually still using that legacy system. So someone has to update that legacy system. So that legacy system don't have like API. So because it doesn't have like API, proper API, we can't integrate the that legacy application through Appian when running when we run that when we run that process, right? So here, like it's gonna be like manual and repetitive and routine task. It's kind of boring task, right, to update it from Excel from there. So, but if you have like a robot, right? So we can, there is a tool for creating a lot of robots, right? Chatbot, UiPath, and Blue Prism. You can create like robotic bots there, right? So those robots, like they can read the Excel, and then they can make an insert, like an insert statement, like on the legacy system. If we have that kind of bot, so like or a chatbot or any like any of them, right? Chatbot, Blue Prism, or UiPath, so we can use that robotic processes and then run that process in our application, like in our processes before it's complete. Or we can schedule a process and it's running every night, like while people are sleeping. We can run this robotic process from Appian to to replace those just repetitive things. Any question about the process object? Any question? قبطة أطفال.
عرفنا.
All right. Okay. So assuming like everybody is Appian expert, so the end of the 6 weeks is gonna be like we were gonna have like at least 6, 7 of you like who will be on that on that end, right? So like on the Appian developer end. So all right. So if you don't have any question about the objects, pros objects, uh, I'm gonna jump on the user object. Uh, so in here. All right, so here like in Appian, right? So like if you see the blue things, right? Robotic task, robotic pull, and we cover like this, right? Robotic task and robotic pull. Like we can, configure these things like just to activate like robotic activities. Uh, but like here the process model and the process report, process model just to just do our processes, like just to do to complete our business workflow activities, right? The process report is nothing to access information from the process model, the running process model, right? Active running process model, and then just getting some kind of report out of it. So this, if you see the top four, is we categorize them as a process object, right? So this we cover like a data object. Also we cover like it's like in a process object. Now we're gonna cover this guy, right? It's gonna be a user object, right? So, you know, like pay attention right there. Okay, so like if it's a data object, it's kind of like orange, right? If it is kind of I'm kind of like colorblind, so like just if it's kind of if it is blue or something, right? So it's kind of like pros model, right? Pros objects. Uh, this color, right? It's gonna be like user object. So all the like Appian is an object actually in a category, right? Like data object, process object, user object, role object, right? Connected system object, for some connected object, right? Integration object. So if you see them like if you see kind of like similarity in the color of the icon or like kind of like symbol, right? So that means like actually they are actually belong to some on the same category, right? So like now like let's focus on this guy, right? So user object. So user object on that user object we have like interface, report, site, and portal, right? So interface, report, site, and portal are categorized as user objects. So let's go deep in and then discuss more about like what is site, what is actually and portal. All right, we interface object interface are actually an interface and object that there's one or more components to display on a record view, right? So tempo, reports, or a process form. This is the primary object that designers use to show user interface to application users. So interface is nothing but just we are actually creating this like three like or four portal, report, site, and everything. It's related to the user, right? So whoever like gonna access our application, right? So when they come and then see Appian, right? So they are actually seeing the user object, right? We are actually creating an interface, uh, so the users will interact with Appian, right? Here, like they come here and then see information right there, right? So I know like they are seeing like this thing, right? A record, right? This is actually record, right? So all the records, but we're actually displaying this record on that interface, right? So the user actually interact with and then get some information like or like just get interaction with Appian through user interfaces, right? So so interface reports, sites, and portal is related to user objects that are primarily involved with interactive like users display falling on this category. Right? Interface, reports, sites, and all objects are created in order for users to interact with the applications. Uh, okay, so what is a report, right? So like now, like like an interface is an object that we can configure. So like I can show you one interface, right? Let me open this guy. I'm going to create one test interface, right? So when I create this interface, actually, I already have like one interface, right? For like for example, this is an interface. Like we can create like interface from this guy we can create some kind of I'm gonna open this one first. So, all right. So this is actually like when you create an interface, right? So we're gonna go through this guy, okay? So we're gonna go through this all this like when we discuss about the more interface. So you're gonna like you'll get like more information about it. But here, like you see, it's like we created like this interface, so the user actually when they try to create a vendor, so they see this page, right? So this is an interface. So the user is actually interacting with the Appian to create a vendor, and then the first thing they see is actually this interface. So this interface, whenever like when we plan to create something, and then you okay, let me capture this information from the user, from the from someone, right? Then it's on your mind. The first thing you have to the first thing has to come is actually interface, right? Interface has to come first. Okay, then I'm gonna configure it, right? So what kind of components I need in that specific interface, right? I'm gonna capture first name, last name, whatever. Then once you complete that, then you're gonna map it through the through the record, right? So where I'm actually going to save my information, right? That will come next. But like for the user, they see it like on the interface. So this is the primary object that designers used to show user interface to application users. So the application users easily access, you know, interact with Appian application. They they enter like some information about on the field, some kind of like it's nothing like interfaces. Either we're actually displaying as read only or actually kind of like an intake form. So kind of we are asking integers to put some information for us, right? Uh, Reports displays data from task, right? So a report is kind of just to kind of like a dashboard, right? It's kind of a dashboard to display like bar charts. We can create like interface and then add them as a report. But a report is nothing like it's kind of like report displays data from tasks. We can get some information from records or database and different source like it can be like a data source like interface for integers to view, right? So on this guy we can use like charts, grids, pictures, and a lot of like kind of like reporting components. Like on this reporting components I can show you here. Right there, right? So like once you create like a component, so there is a reports right here like chart. There's a lot of different charts, right? We can create like different charts on for our report, like a pie chart or anything like that, right? So in Appian it's kind of like easy to pick this stuff. Like for example, I wanna just drag and drops, then I have it like uh, right there, so I can have like pie chart. So I can create like dashboard, but like I need some kind of report. I need to feed like some information there. Then you'll have like your report, so you can create a report of it. So also like it's just you see here, like we can create a report from tasks, right? There will be an active task assigned to a user, right? So like when for example like when I created an account, vendor account, so I'm gonna send a task for the applicant, sorry, for the supervisor. So that supervisor will gonna review my page, right? So we're gonna review like my application and then remove or I can it can be like an approve or reject. So there's so that kind of things, right? So I can access the task or the task. Okay, what kind of like task is actually assigned to uh, supervisor one, right? So and then how many tasks are assigned to supervisor two or something kind of information. We can access directly from the process, like from here, right? So with the process report, we can also like call those information and then display it in the process report, right? So whatever the information we got from the process as well, right? We can create like a report, display like data from different tasks. Uh, you know, this report is nothing, right? It's kind of like a dashboard. It's used actually user interface, right? So that means like I'm gonna show you here. Like I want to create like a report, right? So I'm gonna type like report, my first report or something, right? right? So this is the interface I'm gonna pass, right? So I can pass the interface right here inside. So whatever I created, for example, if I pass this guy, it will gonna be we're gonna create it for that for me. Or I can create. You can also like create as like task, task report, so you can get some kind of task out of it, right? Right. So it is now like see like once you also created, so it will ask you like okay, just give me this guy, but it's actually creating like a dashboard for you. We can see on that report tab, like this is the old way to see right, this is the old way to access like reports like a tempo, right? If I click here, then you will see like once you actually create those, right, like my first report is actually come here, so you can access your report from here, right there, right? So this is actually on the report, this is on tempo, right? As I mentioned, like we're not actually giving access to users, like we're not using tempo anymore, right? But if still like when you join a company, or like if still they are using like tempo as a first source of like interaction, then you but like this kind of like a legacy application, I can't say like few companies still using tempo, but like most companies actually they're building like a new application, so we are actually using the site. So what is site? You come here, right? You're gonna come here on the site. Site is actually nothing. It's a customizable user interface where developers can create focused work environment for their user, right? Just like the tempo is kind of like a focused environment, right? But it's for sorry, tempo, it has a limited tab. If you see here, tempo has like you can't add anything like on this guy, right? So now like tempo has like only five: one, news, task, record, report, and action, right? On the news tab, you'll see like kind of like feeds, right? So like either like when you export something, when someone sends like message and something, it's kind of like a channel for the company, so they can collaborate message there, right? Okay, this for example, like someone is actually onboarded to the team, right? So you can send like on the news feed, right? So they will see like okay, this guy. So then you can say you can comment out, it's a kind of we know this, right? So it's, we're using like Facebook or something, right? So kind of like it's a channel for the company, so they can do. Previously was they're using it like intense, so we do like some collaboration on the news side, right? So they have if there is a new announcement or something, they will do on the news tab, so everybody can see it from here. Tasks, if any task is assigned to the supervisor, for example, we actually not for the supervisor, for the individual, right? If some task is assigned to me for approval or rejection, so I will see it here. Like if there is any task, I will see it right here. Record, any record I created, right? A record for like for example, record for a vendor applicant, anything, right? Any kind of records, I'm gonna see it from right here. Like I don't know why, like right. So any records is gonna be like actually displayed right here. Reports, you're gonna see them like right there, right? So like reports, any reports we created, for example, like let's see like one of the reports they created, right? So we'll see like AR reports, analyze, you can view trends. So any information about a report is kind of like read only, right? So you'll learn more about it, especially like more for managers. You're gonna give access to on the report, so they access different report there. Actions, right? So actions is nothing, but now so we need to publish this just to see all actions. But for example, like I want to add, right? Create. I want to create like a vendor, right? So vendor, like whatever we see, right? So just add a vendor, right there, right? Or update vendor or something. But the first thing, like record list actions, right? All the record list action, whatever you created, it's gonna list right here. So actions, you click on that, pop up, right? So you can add a vendor from here as well, right? So this is a template, it's old way of doing this, right? Now we don't need to do this guy, right? So because this is actually limited, right? So we can't create like actions on the news or something like that, right? It's kind of like limited. So if we need to create like a record, so we're gonna ask the user to go and then access it from record tab. If we created a report, they're gonna ask them to access it from the report, right? So kind of limited in action. It's right here. So we can't add actually like more tab as well, right? So that's the maximum, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So now like just I want to add, all right? I want to add like more, right? Okay, so now I want to add like contacts. I want to add like maintenance, and I want to add like items or something. So this is actually limited, so I can't do that one from the tempo. So Appian, just keep evolving, and then they gave us actually this option like a site. So this site is actually nothing, but we can customize our own site. So we can, create our own tempo. We can create our own tempo or something like that. You can say that, right? Tempo site is actually a customizable user interface where developers can create a focused working environment for their users. So this is a focused tempo is actually a focused environment, right? It has like news record or something. We can create our own focused environment for the end user, so the end users can easily interact. But in terms of site, it's actually kind of like more flexible, so you can build whatever you want, right? So like for when working in the site, users can view and submit tasks, right? So the same thing, right? So we can view and submit tasks in tempo. We do it like only from the task tab. We can view reports, right? In tempo, we can view the reports from the report tab. We can view records, right? We can view record on the record tab, like in tempo as well. And then we can also start action, right? We can start action from anywhere, right, on our from site. So it's actually kind of the same, but also like now design of site give us like more flexible, and then you can create like more beautiful application, right? More beautiful application for the users, so the users can easily like we can do like some multiple customization. So as an example, actually we're gonna create one, right? We're gonna create one site for vendor applicant, and we're gonna display that there today, right? So but like just to show you like what is actually site means, right? So maybe just solution site. So let's see, like this is actually Appian provide us, right? So this is looks like the site, right? So it's nothing, right? But it's a vehicle, right? So we can kind of like create a customized environment. So kind of like it's a vehicle, right? The report and my task. So tasks actually right here. So if I want to add like multiple, I can add like until 10. So just to give you an idea, so maximum we can add on the site is actually 10. So like 2 or 3 years back, the maximum number we can add as a tab was 5, but Appian gave us now actually 20, make it like 10. So now we can create like a maximum of 10 tab, but inside this guy, like we can create like multiple subtab, right? So kind of like flexible, you can create like as you want, right? Right, so kind of like the same thing. So now like we're gonna create actually the same kind of we're gonna create like same kind, like, but in our case it's gonna be like vendor, right? So we're gonna create like a vendor applicant. So we're gonna create like a vendor, so we can add, give them like an action to add a vendor here, and then gonna list them right there, right? So the same thing what we see on the record type, but it's gonna be on our side. All right, let's all right. So and then actually before I go there, right? So I want to add here. Uh, Here also like kind of a site right there, right? Uh, no, not site. But like when I create this guy, so I see like interface, report, site, and portal, right? So we cover this, right? Interface, report, and site. So what is portal? Portal is the same, right? So same with the site. So we can create like customizing focus area for the user so they can interact with our application. But portal and site, the main difference between the two is actually site, we need a username and password so we can log in, right? They have, this is for the workforce, like whoever like working for that company. Uh, they should have like username and password to access Appian from once they actually log into Appian, so they can access like different sites, right? But it's a portal. If it's portal, so we can expose this to like somewhere like on the cloud or something, right? Once actually there, so anybody, myself, like even if like you are actually if you are not actually the company employee, if you don't have like username and password, you can access that portal. So the main difference between the two is actually uh, there is like major difference on the architecture, right? On the backend architecture, but like the how it works and everything like that. So like in the cloud, how things are set up, anything like totally like different. So portal is kind of like standalone, but like in pod, once you created a portal, so you can expose some kind of like some piece of information to external user. So the external users without the username and password, they can access it, right? All right, we're gonna try to create like a report as portal as well. Okay. Okay. So let's create a site. All right, so let's create a site for our vendor applicant. Okay, so I'm gonna create a site. I'm gonna create a site here now, like create sites. So we'll have like focused area. So say vendor applicant. Web identifiers. Display name is gonna be vendor. Right, vendor, and vendor applicant is gonna be a site for applicant, right? I'm gonna create this guy. Create this. All right. So like whenever you create any object, is automatically ask you for the security. So you have to remember that security is actually a big deal in Appian. So make sure like whenever you create an account, to secure it with some proper group. Okay. So here, site is nothing about you just created your own first site, right? So I just created my own first site. My web address is actually right here, right? So I just have like this web address. So from this web address, so if anybody have like username and password, if this is not actually secured, right? If it's not actually properly secured, everybody can access like if they have like username and password. But we need still we what we did is actually here we are creating this site, right? But I have like this security set up, right? So this security, like whoever that's administrator, whoever like all user group, this group, right? Whoever like part of this group, then they can access it. So they can access the site, but like if they are not belonging to this group, so they will see like they if they type that URL, so they will see like access denied page. All right. So here now I'm okay, right? Good, right? So like now like it looks like my okay. I'm gonna go and then click here. So like I'll show you. So my site is actually right there. So I just created a site. This is my site. So like anybody just come here and then see this is site. So what is missing here, right? I don't see any tab, right? So let's add a tab, right? So let's add like one tab, at least like saying like in a vendor, kind of a homepage for vendor, so they can add things right there. All right, so let's create that. So like in order to do that, right? So uh, okay, so like you can access like here. You can say like you can go through this setup anything, right? So just to see like what you can configure, right? Show tempo link, like you can show the tempo link whatever the tempo like we show them, right? It never show them like for the kind of like we're not actually showing like tempo anymore, right? So make it like now like show record news, like whatever the news, like click on news if you see like news there, right? uh, did I see that actually? Let me see like one of the anyways, news or something. So if I want to add, remove this news, right? So like, I can, just uncheck this guy, and then like that's gonna display from there, like when you actually display on the site. Show task list tab on a mobile, right? So show task list on a mobile, you can show them like, it's always, we can select always. We're gonna show them never, so like, to go through this like kind of like we're not actually doing anything. Okay, that's fine. All right, so like page, like we kind of like homepage, right? So they on the page side, here, like you see like an add page, right? You can add like, more page, like multiple page on this guy, right? So you can add like page here, right? So on this page, I'm gonna add like a title, right? So I'm gonna add like a title, like some kind of vendor. Okay. Uh, the web identifiers actually automatically give me like a kind of a vendor here. What is actually the icon, right? So I'm gonna add actually kind of like home icon for the vendors, right? So, but you can select like, multiple icon, right? So from there is multiple icons on Appian. Uh, you can add one of them, right? So like for example, retail, right? No, yeah. So you can like, you can select like, one of the icon like you want. So right, so like multiple icons there, you can select one of them, right? So I'm gonna select like, home. Actually already selected, right? That's fine. Now I'm gonna, like in Appian, in the site, so there's four ways actually to display your page, right? What is actually the source, right? Whenever like you display, when you create a tab or something, you want to display something, right? Right? What is your source? What kind of information you want to display on that specific page, right? Are you actually displaying an action, right? That means like an action is actually adding a vendor, right? So vendor, like whatever the pros model we have, right? We can actually pass the pros model right there, right? The pros model like for create or something. If I type this guy, it will gonna list out like, all the pros models we have, right? It's actually searching the process, right? So it's gonna give us like all the pros models. So you can correct, select one of the pros model, and that pros model should have like, start form. So you'll see the form right there, right, directly there. So I'm gonna actually tweak and then show you like how action is actually doing working, right? We're gonna add like two, and then we're gonna hide that. So interface, right? Interface, like if you wanna display like a report, right? Like a report or like some kind of like, dashboard, right? So the one like we see kind of a pie chart, bar chart or something. We can, add like an interface here, and you're gonna pass the interface name right there, right? So like whatever I created. If you type this, you're gonna search from the interface, and then you can pick it from there, right? Right there, right? So a lot of interface you can add them, and then when you add, so we're gonna see all the interface on this side. But now, like I want to add vendor applicant, right? So that's actually from my record list, right? Whatever the information on my record page, right? So record types, I want to see it on my site page. So now, if I type vendor applicant, right? So we're going to list all the vendor applicants, and I can easily select it, and then I can display that information like you see here, vendor applicant. Now, like if you see here, like the widths, whatever the widths we have right there, right? So we're gonna set up this guy, right? The page this. The width is like a wide. If I wanna make it like narrow, like medium, full, anything, right? So you can adjust the widths right there. The visibility, whoever like able to see this message, right? This page, this size. So this is one of actually the secret, like if you want to actually secure, I'm going to show you, but let's make it like show when. So the visibility we can do it from here. Now also like there is another tab as a report. It's nothing, right? So such a kind of like interface, right? So we can if you have like report, you can select. So in site, we can create a page, either of the four item, right? So one is from action pros model interface, anything like from whatever you created on the interface, user interface, record list action, all from the record types, right? From the all the records and from the report. So now click on add. All right. I'm not going to do anything right now, right? So I see it right here, right? So now my it's kind of like a preview, right? So my brand, I created the vendor, right? So I see my vendor applicant information. I see whatever like I see on that record type, right? I see the record action right there, but it's on my site, right? It's not on the temple, but it's on my site. So I created a site. I created like a user focused area, like focused environment, so the user can act on this guy, right? So this is actually the layout. It will give you like an option to either either on the top or sideways. As you can select sideways, you'll see like this. Right, if you wanna continue on the sideways, you can do that as well. Like just. But I love actually working on the header bar. So that's why anything you did actually uh, that's gonna be fine. But it depends on the client, right? So the first thing that's now you see how I created like my first site. It's an Appian here. I have vendor homepage, right? Vendor homepage. So I see all the record list for my vendor applicant. So I can click on my vendor applicant right there. Come on. It's gonna open the same thing, right? So whatever the record type he has, like we're actually nothing, like we're calling that record type in our site, right? So the users can update this guy, right? So they can delete or update this guy, whatever the information you have. But they have actually kind of focused area right there. So if they want to add like a new list, like new vendor is onboarded, right? So they're gonna create it right there, right? So they're gonna fill out this form, and then they're gonna create this guy, right? For example, like staples. I'm gonna create this guy, just like because this is not required, because we're gonna make this actually. This is not actually a good interface. We need to make it like more of like beautiful interface. So right, so this is like this, right? So we're gonna add this guy now. If you wanna add multiple lists, you can add like multiple lists from here, right? So click here, and then you can add like multiple lists. So just to have like more data, just click something there. So whenever you add that, so you're gonna see it, like you're gonna store it your information actually on the database. So if you check the database as well, see if your information is actually stored. Right, so I just store like Best Buy and Staples. Right there, I have like Best Buy and Staples. Whatever updates I made, it's gonna be synced to our database. So database nothing. It's gonna be a base for our data, right? So we're actually, you know, Army has like a base, right? Like for example, like U.S. Army has different base. So that means nothing. That's kind of that base actually only for soldiers, right? Soldiers will live there. Our database is same thing, like so it's a base for data, right? So I'm gonna store it on our database. All right, so yeah, so we created this like new release structure, so we can add like multiple. So any question, guys, like any question, I'll get back. All right, all right. So we're gonna start actually like on rule object Monday. I want you to guys like to digest like more on these things. But if you have any question, just please forward it so I can answer your question like you know, at least like to make it like clear for you guys. It's clear. Okay. Yeah, we have 15 minutes, believe, but I'm kind of like late today, right? So just to join, like, like I should start at like 6, but uh, anyway, that's like, do you have any question? Are you talking? Like, looks like you're on mute. We can't hear you. Any question? All right, you can hear me, guys, right?
እንሰማሃለን አይደል?
Okay, all right. just through like the fashion ይመስላል
አለ
ግራ ገብቷቸዋል ወይ ገብቷቸዋል ማለት ነው ይሄን all right so rule objects we're gonna discuss like more about this one like just like only like 40 minutes I don't wanna just I will give you like some highlights but we can continue on this guy right so rule objects is mainly
um, like ብዙ ኢንፎርሜሽን ነው የሰጠህን ዛሬ እና ካን ዊ ዳይጀስት ኦን ዳት
yeah
እሱን
so
ብንጨርስ
we're
እና
gonna
ከቻፕ
actually conclude our class so I'm gonna actually start this guy on Monday we're not actually
እንደዚህ
going too much on this one but
ያ
like we're gonna cover like what just to like before you come to the Monday class I want you like to go through like the rule object what is a rule object right so what is constant uh, what is expression rule and everything like I know like it's kind of like too much information but so we have to digest so like before next class like if you get a chance just go through that documentation like on the Google sheet also like it has like all the information there right so what is constant what is this rule what is expression what is all Appian objects categorized as rule object right then when you come so we're gonna try to create like a few of them like constant what is decision what is expression rule and anything and I'm try to show you there right so yeah so let's conclude our class if you don't have any question I know it's too much information try to digest it but definitely I promise you like just after 6 week it's more of like just you're gonna familiarize with this so you'll say definitely you'll say Appian is easy so uh, so if you don't have any question guys like yeah I will let you go I will give you like 10 minutes back and I will see you Monday
አንድ ጥያቄ ነበረ። በቃ ሰኞ ይሁን።
yeah sure ጥያቄ ካለ ማለት
አይ ሰኞ ይሁን ስለበዛ ዛሬ።
no if you have a question just go for it
Okay, can you explain a little bit about tempo?
yeah tempo is kind of like focused area right uh, so when so we create like in a site right we created a site for focus some kind of area right tempo is actually when Appian comes right when Appian comes in the first place right there was no site right so there was no portal before right Appian only like like when I say like it's 10 years back and then 15 years back right Appian comes with the tempo right so we created every object and anything but user able to access like kind of like interact with Appian through tempo right tempo is nothing it's kind of a site right the same site but you can't do any flexibility right there is no flexibility on that right they have like 5 tab like news task record report and action whenever you create a report you'll see it on the report whenever you create an action you're gonna see it in action so inside you will have like the full flexibility right so you can create your own tab you can create your own action you can create your own task you know the way you want it right so tempo is it's nothing it's kind of like a site but like the first version of Appian site right so Appian any whatever you develop the end user was like interacting with Appian through tempo that's back in the days but Appian, just keep evolving. Now no one is actually using tempo. We're not actually using tempo anymore. So yeah, so don't focus on that. So just on your mind, yes. So if they ask you about have you ever worked on tempo, right? No. The answer is no. Like because no one is actually using it. So tempo is nothing. It's kind of like a display. It's kind of old way of displaying application. All right.
Thank you.
Clear, Mara?
Okay.
All right, guys. I'll see you Monday.